Let me ask you something real. How many times have you dropped everything to help somebody else? A friend, a coworker, a family member, only to go home exhausted, behind on your own work, maybe even broke, and wonder, when is it my turn? Who's looking out for me? It's almost like you've become the unofficial emergency hotline. Someone needs money, you're the first call. Someone needs a favor at the last minute, you're the one rearranging your whole day. Someone's in a bind, you're the safety net. And sure, at first it feels good. You feel important, needed, even praised. Society applauds self-sacrifice. People will tell you, wow, you're such a good person. But here's the tough question. At what cost? When was the last time you got that same level of sacrifice back? Who's rescuing you when you're tired, when you're behind, when you're struggling? Before we even dive deeper, I want you to pause and reflect. Where in your life have you been giving at a level that's draining you instead of helping you grow? Drop it in the comments right now. You'd be surprised how many people are in that exact same boat. Think about your life like a car. You've got a fuel tank, your energy, your money, your mental space. Now what happens when the gas light comes on? Suddenly every mile feels heavy. You're gripping the wheel, praying you don't break down. Now imagine in that exact moment your phone rings. Hey, can you give me a ride? You want to say yes. You feel guilty saying no, but your tank is bone dry. You can't move an inch. That's what a lot of us are doing with life. We're trying to give rides when we're stranded ourselves. And the irony is, you're not only stuck, but the person who needed help is still stranded too. Life doesn't reward you for draining yourself dry. It rewards you for moving from strength, not scarcity. We need to talk about boundaries, because here's where so many people get twisted. We think boundaries mean rejection. We think boundaries mean pushing people away. But that's not true. Boundaries don't say, I don't care about you. Boundaries say, I care about me too. Think about your time. Have you ever said yes to an invitation you didn't want to attend, just because you didn't want to disappoint somebody? Then you sit there the whole time, drained, wishing you had just stayed home. That's what happens when you have no boundaries with your time. Think about your energy. Have you ever answered the phone at midnight, even though you had to be up at 6 a.m., because you didn't want to seem rude? That's what happens when you have no boundaries with your energy. And of course, think about your money. Have you ever skipped paying one of your own bills to help someone else out, telling yourself, I'll figure it out later? That's what happens when you have no boundaries with your finances. Here's the reality. Saying yes when you're already stretched thin isn't kindness. It's self-destruction. Let me give you a powerful analogy. When firefighters run into a burning building, the very first thing they check before even stepping inside is their oxygen tank. Why? Because if they run out of oxygen, they're no help to anyone. They just become another victim. That's exactly how life works. If your oxygen tank, your money, your energy, your time is always empty, you're not saving anyone. You're just burning out. So let's flip the script. Boundaries are not selfish. Boundaries are survival. And more than that, boundaries are the secret to long-term generosity, because when you protect your capacity, you can give more for longer without resenting it. Let's do a quick reflection. Do you struggle more with boundaries around your money, your time, or your energy? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to see where most people wrestle. Let's get real. Have you ever said yes to helping someone, and the moment you sent the money or gave the time, you felt a mix of pride and regret? You're stressed because your own situation just got tighter. You're resentful because deep down you know this isn't the last time they'll ask. And worst of all, you've trained them to expect it. Every yes to them can secretly be a no to your future self, and that's a dangerous trade. Picture this. Two people fall into a pool, both can't swim, both are panicking. They cling to each other, thrash around, and guess what? They both sink. That's what happens when people with nothing try to save each other. But if one of them learns to swim, builds strength, and gets stable on the side of the pool, now they can throw in a rope and actually save the other. That's the difference between giving from strength and giving from scarcity. Let's talk about money and relationships. Nothing ruins family gatherings faster than unpaid debt. You loan money with good intentions, but suddenly you're noticing what they're buying. You're tracking whether they went out to eat instead of paying you back. It doesn't take long before the bond is strained. The laughter feels forced. You feel taken advantage of. That's why I live by one rule. I don't loan to friends or family. If I can give, I give. If I can't, I don't. No awkward IOUs, no mental scorekeeping, just clean boundaries. Stewardship isn't just about you today, it's about your future self and the people depending on you tomorrow. If your fridge broke tomorrow, could you replace it without swiping a credit card in panic? If your car blew a tire, could you handle it with calm instead of chaos? Because here's the truth. You can't leave a legacy if you're constantly fixing other people's emergencies while ignoring your own. Ask yourself, what will your kids, your future spouse, your community inherit from you? A foundation of security or a legacy of exhaustion? Don't get me wrong, generosity is powerful, but only when it multiplies instead of drains. Think of it like planting seeds. If you eat all the seeds now, there's no harvest later. But if you plant, nurture, and let your wealth grow, eventually you're not just feeding yourself, you're feeding an entire village. That's what happens when you give from overflow. Your gift doesn't weaken you, it strengthens generations. Here's a trap to avoid. It's called guilt-driven generosity. You know that little voice that says, if you don't help, you're a bad person. That voice will have you broke, burnt out, and bitter. Wisdom-driven generosity says, I'll give, but I'll give from a place of health, intention, and abundance. That's how you build impact that lasts beyond one moment. I want you to pause and think about this. What does the 80-year-old version of you need from you right now? That future you, wrinkled, wiser, maybe sitting in a rocking chair, will either thank you for protecting them or resent you for abandoning them while you played savior for everyone else. The truth is, no one will care about your retirement, your stability, your peace, more than you. And every choice you make today is either setting that future you free or chaining them to struggle. So here's the challenge. Save yourself first. Build your foundation strong. Then and only then use that strength to bless others. Because a candle can't light another candle if it's burned out. But a healthy flame can ignite dozens more. Drop a comment, I'm saving myself first. If you've ever been pressured to give when you couldn't afford to, share that story because someone out there needs to know they're not alone. If this message resonated with you, go ahead and hit like, subscribe to The Wealthy Edge, and share this with that friend who's always trying to push everyone forward, even when they're running on empty. We all know someone like that, and maybe sometimes it's even us. Here's the truth. Strong individuals create strong families, and strong families are what build strong communities. It doesn't happen by accident. It starts with one conscious choice. Protect your foundation, invest in yourself, and lead from strength. Everything else follows.